What's up, everybody? TCG Mike here. Today I'm back for another video of a deck profile. I'm going into a little more detail of my Phantom Knights deck and what my thoughts were when I built this for the tournament. I just want to say for the tournament, I had one win, a few draws, and a few losses there. So it was 6 rounds. Was very confident. Did a lot of studying this past week to know what cards and what decks that I would probably facing and how to play against them and what to side in, and did a lot of test playing and stuff like that, and was up late nights with my friends helping me out to build this deck, to put this deck together in side deck. So want to say I was well confident going in, was hoping to do a lot better, maybe get a few wins, but fortunately I ended up with a lot of bad hands at the very end of the tournament or the last few rounds. So not the greatest, but I know the deck can play a lot better than it should have performed, and made a few misplay mistakes. Mistakes of destroying some few certain cards during games. But it's a learning experience. It's more of a learning and having fun, okay? So I'll try to do better next time, but definitely want to go with the run-through of this deck here. So my field center I was playing with Ghost Bell, Haunted Mansion. I don't really have that many field centers, but I like this one. So anyway, I'm not going to go over with these cards. Not going to go in details with some of these cards here. I'm sure everyone already knows what they do. I mean, Phantom Knights player, but I just want to go over details of certain cards, of mainly like the side deck or something like that. So got 3 Torn Scales. Was running 3 Silent Boots, 2 Ancient Cloak, 1 Sangreaves, and 1 Gloves. That's pretty much like the ratio I feel comfortable with. I know some people play with 3 Ancient Cloak. 2 is just fine, because I usually just go through 2 in a game, so possibly or just need 1. So that's the lineup for the Phantom Knights. 3 Tour Guide, 2 Kagemusha Knights. Yes, I cut down 1 Kagemusha Knight, cut down 2, because I didn't want to have a hand where during the tournament where if I drew all 3 of them. If I drew all 3, because you can go 1 and then special summon, normal summon the special summon the other Kagemusha Knight, and then you have 1 dead in your hand. So I didn't want to have so that's the reason why I cut down the 2 Kagemusha Knights, because I didn't want to have a dead one in hand on the worst case scenario of if I ended up drawing all 3 of them. So that's why I cut down on that for this tournament. So we got the Graph, Burning the Biz, Seer, Burning the Biz, the Danger, Jackalope, and Chizunoko. Very, very good. And then we have the Psychic. We have 1 Wielder and 1 Tracker. Now I have cut out Madame Spider, the punk monster, Madame Spider. I cut her out because first of all, I was at 45 cards, so I was trying to cut down, see what to cut out, and Punk Madame Spider, you get to you can e-tally it out of the deck onto the field, pay 600 life points to get yourself a Punk Trap card, which is Dangerous Gobu, which is a monster negate card. But I'm already running enough negate cards. Like I'm running 3 Impermanents. I got Appaloosa. I have Fog Blades. So I'm already running enough where my board builds up a lot of monster negate. So it wasn't very necessary for me to play Madame Spider, do deck search for that trap card. And especially if I open with a Madame Spider, it would become, if I don't use it for a normal summon, it becomes a dead card in my hand. So that's why I cut it out and just went with just the 1 Psychic Wielder and Psychic Tracker, while still playing 3 E-Tallies. So we are going with Artifact Scythe. Artifact Scythe was good. It did really good. I've only got to see it probably All right, to be honest, just one game. One game I actually got to Scythe lock my opponent, and that was against a Blue Eyes player. Like I said, I had very terrible hands in like later in the tournament, and like just like a snowball rolling, and wasn't getting nothing going or putting up a Scythe lock. So in expedition games at home or out with my friends, I can actually do good, but once the tournament comes around, yeah. All right, so 3 Ash was playing 3 Ash Blossoms for the main, and so that was the monster lineup. Ash Blossom came really good. I got to it did show up a couple games where I got to Ash Blossom a card for Branded Fusion. I got to do this against my buddy Robert on Branded Fusion, Ash Blossom it. So he couldn't get to Mirror Jade. Next on the spells were I was running 3 Italies, even though I was running two Psychics. Reinforcements of the Army, Foolish Burial, Monster Reborn, Call by a Grave. I didn't get to see Call by a Grave at all in my hand, so couldn't really do not much with it. Dark Ruler No More is what I mained. If I was going first, I would switch this out for another side. So, but Dark Ruler No More has came in clutch at times, but unfortunately, once again, I had bad hands, so I wasn't able to put up like a really good board presence where I was able to win the game off Dark Ruler No More. I could have. There was one game I was facing against this one guy playing Reptilian, and he had all his monsters in defense mode. He had a full board of monsters on his first turn, and I went second, Dark Ruler No More to stop whatever negate effects he had going, and unfortunately all his monsters were in defense mode, and he had 5 of them on board, so couldn't pierce through. Or if he had one monster in attack, I would have tried to go on into Arc Rebellion and just... I went into Arc Rebellion that match, now I think about it, but he's lucky he didn't have any monsters open, or I would have just gone... Oh, well, actually, I'm sorry, can't attack directly, but... yeah, so... Dark Ruler No More wasn't able to win the game off of some of the games, but still. Came in clutch. I did get to see it at time to time and destroy my opponent's board with it. But just wasn't able to win because of the hand bricks that I was getting. And what I mean by hand bricks, I'm going to show you right here. Multiple times have I seen like Seer and Graph in hand. I'm talking about out of 43 cards, drawing both of these in my hand. I'm like, oh geez. And the thing is, with Graph and Seer, I just wanted to point out why it was kind of dead to me, because like I was able to get monsters onto the board and go into Cherubini, but then I got all I could do is special summon Graph, special summon Seer or whichever, and then send them to the graveyard, summon Rusty Bardiche, but I don't get the grave effects for these guys. So that was the problem of where I just didn't want to see them in my hand, because I didn't get the Cherubini back, and all I was left with Rusty Bardiche got effect negated. Also, I got Nibiru'd, so I did get Nibiru'd off of Rusty Bardiche, and that was just like, all right, well, can't do anything now. Your turn. All right, so moving on to the traps. We got 3 Fogblade and got 1 Wing, Brigadine, and Imperm. Here, Fogblade always did his job really good, keeping down my opponent. Also, whenever my opponent was Fogblade, he would get rid of his monster. This would go to graveyard, and then I would go ahead and banish it, bring back a Break Sword for like defense to save my life points. So there was some times where either Wing or Fogboy has saved me from getting hit by the final punch and able to try to get back into the game. Okay, so now we're going to go over the extra deck. I got Rusty Bardiche, Cherubini, Appaloosa. This card is the main reason why I defeated the Blue Eyes player, not just because Scythe, because Blue Eyes also has powerful monsters as well. I played Appaloosa. I had Scythe on board with that. Appaloosa had 1600 with like 2 times the for countering monster effects, because Appaloosa can negate a monster's effect from being activated from hand, graveyard, or field. So my opponent tried to use Sage. He summoned White Stone of Legend. White Stone of Legend? No, White Stone of Ancients. And then he activated Sage in hand, and I was like, Appaloosa, activate, negate. And he was unfamiliar with Appaloosa's effect, so he didn't know that Appaloosa can negate multiple times. And plus, he didn't know Appaloosa can negate monsters in the hand and grave. So he had to call a judge over just to make sure the ruling and stuff like that. So Appaloosa is always very good, very good. Unfortunately, I played against a Fluoundry player, and usually Appaloosa going first for me and getting 4 negates on it is a really big deal for me because we've combat against the Fluoundries. But unfortunately, that wasn't able to happen this time because, like I said, I had very open bad hands towards the end of the tournaments. And on expedition matches at home with my buddies who play Fluoundries, this card becomes an MVP against those matches, and I end up winning sometimes, or most of the time. So didn't get to show it off, didn't get to do that during this tournament, but hopefully next time will be good. IP Masquerena, still never found a situation where I end up going to IP. Nightmare Unicorn. There probably was a point where I was going to go into Nightmare Unicorn during one of the matches, but I think I went into something else. Artifact Dagda. Like I said, it's for Scythe Lock. I was able to go full combo on against the Blue Eyes player, and was able to put down Scythe. That was actually, I was really happy I was able to pull that off. So that's the links right there. Going to the XZs, we have 2 Break Swords. Break Swords, always really good. Always good popping, being able to pop itself or pop something else and then go into Arc Rebellion or bring back, use Fog Blade, brought back, put it on with Rusty's point to and pop another card. Got to do that a couple times, so really good. And then we got Raiders Knights. Went to Raiders Knight a few times and go into Arc Rebellion, so pretty good. I was able to against the game against my buddy Roberts playing branded Predaplants. I was able to bring out Arc Rebellion and just negate his board and just suck up all the power, all the attack power, and just punch for some attack. I don't think we won the game right there, but it did some good deal damage to him. Levier Sea Dragon, which will get combo into get me the number FO Utopic Future and Utopic Draco Future. I was happy that I was actually able to bring out this one right here. Sadly, I got Dark Ruler no more. I think that, yeah. I did get this out. Was able to, who was it? Was it the Blue Eyes player? Yeah, it was the Blue Eyes player. I was able to, in one of the games, I was able to bring out Drip Future. I think it was it? Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure because I think I took his Blue Eyes. Oh, yeah, I did. I do remember now. My Blue Eyes player did brought out alternative White Dragon and was trying to activate his effect, and I was able to use Utopic Draco Future to steal his monster right under him. So, and attach it to Future Draco. So it was a pretty cool moment right there. Something new I was trying out here but didn't go into it. There was I couldn't ever get the time to go into it or so, and that's Evil Swarm Nightmare. Evil Swarm Nightmare, I changed it out with Nightmare Unicorn because there was any time where I actually went. There hasn't been no time where I went into Nightmare Unicorn, so I was trying out Evil Swarm Nightmare. This card right here, whenever your opponent special summons a monster, you can detach one material from this card to change that special summon monster face down defense position. And this is not a hard once per turn. So you can activate this, he's got 2 materials, you can activate this twice during your opponent's turn. So that's like 2 interruptions right there. That's 2 Book of Moons right there. Kind of like a less powerful Book of Moon, because it has to be right on the special summon. So you have to sit there and think, do you want to send that face down? So if your opponent summons special summons a tuner, say like he goes in Healthy Ibrax and summons a Jet Synchron from the deck to the field, you already know he's going to use that as a tuner, so that's where you use him to flip that tuner Jet Synchron face down, so he can't use it. So that's what took my thoughts about Evil Swarm Nightmare against like Sword Soul or something, to flip monster tuners or monsters face down if I was facing like Sword Soul or something. So that's what the idea for me was for Evil Swarm Nightmare, because it's like it's a 2 interruption Book of Moon, but a less weaker version because you had to do it right off the special summon. But never got to use that one. Use them, so. And last but not least, Divine Arsenal Zeus. Zeus is always very handy in situations, but I never. There was a time. I think there was a moment against Roberts that I was going into Zeus, but I don't think I did. I think he ended up superpowering my monster or something like that, and I just didn't get to go into Zeus. No, I did. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. That's something else. No, I did go into Zeus. But he ended up negating him, got destroyed or eaten, whichever, and by his Predapants. But I ended up Monster Reborn him back to just to crash my monster and Mirror Jade. So Zeus crashes with Mirror Jade. That's what I ended up doing. So that's the side deck right there. Alright, so now we're getting into the... I'm sorry, that was the extra deck. We're getting into the side deck now. Originally, I was... I'll show that here in a second. Alright, so I was going with 3 drawn Leopards. 3 drawn Leopards because whenever your opponent... whenever a player adds a card to their hand, you can play this where nobody can draw cards for the rest of the turn. I didn't get to see Drawn Lockbird at all this tournament, like the last time where I saw a Drawn Lockbird a lot. I believe it's really good when it comes to like against decks that add cards to their hand, pretty much. I cited this in because of like Branded Fusion and I think also like maybe Fluounderies, against Fluoundry. I cited this in for like against Fluounderies and branded decks. So that's So like Branded Fusion, I guess. Well, not Fusion. I'm sorry. But Branded Despia. Branded Despia or Fluounderies, and whatever other decks that add cards to their hand, and like Sky Strikers. So that was the main point behind the Draw and Lap board, why I cited it for those kind of type of decks. Next is Artifact Lancia, was just for switch out for Scythe if I needed to. This was mainly I cited this in mainly for Fluounderies, but against Fluounderies player, didn't see it at all. So this was, or any deck that dealt with a banishing, but this was like, reason why I put this in here was mainly against Fluounderies. DD Crow, 2, maybe bump it up to 3. but I didn't get to use DD Crow yet at all because I was sighting in some other stuff. Still have a lot of learning to do in tournaments and learning what to side in, when to side in, or what side cards in it by game 2. So just a lot of I still gotta learn of like figuring out like, okay, I really need this in my side deck, need to learn this side deck, because I would always end up like swapping out the same cards or something like that in my deck for about 6 or 9 cards for like, you know, like Ash Blossom for draw, or Dark Ruler No More for D Barrier. So yeah, or Imperm for something else, Scythe for Lancia. But I didn't get to use DD Crow at all, but I know it's supposed to be like really good side deck worthy stuff, because and here in the next format, and still is one of the best like powerful hand traps. So I don't know, maybe I'll eventually bump it up to 3. Okay, so this one I was originally going to side in anti-spell franticity, but then again, I had the cash, I had the money, I wanted to purchase Nibiru, and my buddy let me loan me his copies of Nibiru, and one that I bought. So 3 Nibiru for any combo decks against like Sword Soul and Floundries. I was side decking this in for like game 2, but unfortunately I didn't see it once. I did not get to see it. Funny enough, I was like sitting there thinking like, man, I spent all this money for Nibiru for the tournament, but didn't see it at all. So I thought that was a funny joke right there, but yep. So I finally got myself 30 copies of Nibiru. So pretty awesome. And actually, what helped me pay when I actually traded for or paid for this for the Nibiru was I had pulled the water Chantress from the Brave Adventure package, the water Chantress. I had pulled the ultimate rare, the ulti rare of that card from the OTS pack, and thought we had that on recording. I would really love to have that video, but unfortunately the video wasn't recording at the time when I opened it, and we had everyone was shocked and all awes when they saw me pull it. So but my buddy Toby wanted that card for his venture package, and I can't afford that package, so traded it for little payments of for the Nibirus. So thank you, Toby. And then my deck also doesn't have a whole lot of back removal other than like using Break Sword or Rusty Bardiche's effect to destroy spells and traps. So these 3 cards I went with a Harpy's Feather Duster, 2 Twin Twisters. I chose Twin Twisters because the discard for destroy 2 spells and traps. My stuff has a lot of graveyard effects like Fogblade and Phantom Knights too as well, so that would make relevant for the discard 1, because I could still use them in the graveyard. So that's why I went with Twin Twister. It was between Twin Twisters or Cyclones. So I could have gone with either Cyclone, a couple of them, or Twin Twisters. I just thought maybe Twin Twister was more relevant because my cards do graveyard effects of the Phantom Knights, and plus it destroys up to 2 spells and traps. So, and of course, Harvey's Feather Dust is at 1, which is a board wipe back. So, I did side in these a lot by game 2. Came against Mystic Mine again. I fought a Mystic Mine again. I was hoping to draw into one of these, never did. I did draw in Harpy's Feather Duster, but the guy, Solomon Judgment, Harpy's Feather Duster, so. And then I didn't pull Twin Twisters. Other times, let's see. Yeah, can't think of any other situations, but I know I cited these in at least a couple times against any heavy back row or somewhat back row decks. That was problematic. Oh yeah. And there was like some decks that were playing like we're playing with floodgates, so that was also what these were for. Were against the floodgates. And then last but not least is probably one of the MVP. This is the MVP of the side deck. Dimensional Barrier. Even though like I said, bad hands I had and didn't win as much off of the cards that I should have probably could have won off of. But I did see D-Barrier a few times, and this did a game changer. I was facing against a Water Xyz deck, and game 2 sets, went first. Guy goes, I'm like, D-Barrier Xyz monster. And he just couldn't do anything, and came back to my turn, was able to deal a whole lot of damage. Unfortunately, like I said, I had a bad hand too. I had a bad hand that game, and he was able to return it around. But we came into a draw because I had more life points dealt to him by the timer had ran out for game 2. But he should have won that game, but I won with the most life points at the end of the timer, so we came out to a draw. But D-Barrier was the MVP of my side deck. And so that is going to conclude my Phantom Knights deck right here for the tournaments. Like I said, I wish could have got better hands, or could have done a lot better. I'm sure like another Phantom Knight player that picked up and played this, that's like more knowledgeable, or look at the board and knows what cards to hit or something. I bet you this deck here could have gone a lot farther than what I did in the tournament. So, still practicing, still learning. Any new changes, I'll let you guys know. So, and I probably am going to do some Phantom Knight deck playing on Master Duel as well. So, thank you very much, everybody, and I'll see you later.